All right, so I can't get Desmos to work, so this is the next best thing. I have graphed the function for 1 on here, as you can see. It's lovely. So we are increasing. We're going to talk about all these things. Increasing, decreasing, constant, positive, negative, domain, range, x-intercept, y-intercept, max, and min. All the things, okay? All right, so let's talk about increasing. So increasing means that the value is going up. So if we think about slope from long ago, we read graphs from left to right, and increasing means that we're going uphill. Well, for this graph, we are increasing for the whole graph. All of it is increasing. So from negative infinity to infinity, it is increasing. It is decreasing nowhere, so we will call that none. Or you can call that neither. There's another name. Anyways, it's fine. None is great. Constant. Constant means like a flat spot, not moving up or down. Decreasing would be down this way. Constant is flat, and we don't have any of those either, so we're going to call that none. Now, positive. Positive means that it is above the x-axis. Sorry. So it is a positive number, because we always think about things in relation to the x-axis, because that's our main line that we use, especially for writing and graphing any sort of inequalities. Like, we just use that line. So positive, well, from this guy, which is -6, to all the way over here, which would be infinity, it is positive. Now, it actually touches the line on -6, so we're going to put a bracket around that guy. Negative, so it is negative to the left, which would be a negative infinity, up until it gets to -6, and then it isn't negative anymore. Now, -6 is kind of funny because it's on that line, like, yeah, it's negative and it's positive. So in order to say that it's part of the line, we're going to use brackets. And then that means that there's not a stop. So a stop would look like this. If you had a line with an open circle, and then this guy had a closed circle, and then another line this way. So if I was talking about from this direction here, this would be a parenthesis, because it doesn't include this number. But this guy would have a bracket to here, so you would see a stop. Or you would notice a stop because one would have a parenthesis and one would have a bracket. Since there is no stop and we have a continuous line, we're going to use brackets on both. The domain. So the domain is how far left and right this picture goes, which is negative infinity to infinity. So again, if we like shrink it down on the x-axis, it will go to the left forever and the right forever. Now, the range is up. Nope. I have an eraser. Down to up. So we're going to shrink it this way. Oh man, delay. Okay, so it's going to go down forever and then up forever. This graph touches the x-axis only here, so that will be at what is that? -6, 0, and the y-intercept is up here at 0, 3, and this doesn't have a max or a min. Remember, a max or a min is like this would be a max right here, this would be a min right here, and a relative max or min would be something like this, where, yeah, it has a max here, but it's not completely the max because we have numbers that are greater. Or we have a min here, but it's not completely the min, so this would be relative. But these are for sure maxes and mins. Another way you could do a max or min is if you had like, if you had a square root, so a square root that went like this way, this would definitely be a min. But if it went like the other way, then this would be a max. So it just kind of depends on what you have going on. I graphed one more for you so we could talk about it. This guy, number 3, is an exponential function, which means that he has an asymptote or a flat spot right here. And it's always flat at this extra number, so a +1. So he will never go below +1. Okay? All right, and I've graphed what I could. Anyways, this is enough you need. Increasing. So we are increasing for the entirety because from left to right, we are going up. So that would be negative infinity to infinity. Decreasing, nope, so none. Constant, it's not really constant because what's happening is every time this is getting less and less and closer, even though they're so small. So basically what's happening over here is that, like if I said, okay, we're going to take 1 and we're going to divide it in half, and now we're going to divide that in half, and we're going to divide it in half, and in half, and in half, and in half, forever and ever and ever and ever. So this will be constantly going down and not like flat, but not down that far because it can't go past -1. It just, our eyes can't see it. So anyways, it's not really constant. It's pretty close, but not quite there. Positive. So for this graph, it is all above the x-axis, so it's positive from -infinity to infinity, and negative nowhere, none, no negatives. Okay, it doesn't go below the x-axis. The domain will be -infinity to infinity. The left and right will go on forever and ever. The range. Now the range means down to up. Well, this guy is forever getting closer to 1 and never touching it. So that will be a parenthesis, and then 1, and it's going up forever and ever, so that's positive infinity. The x-intercept, well, it doesn't touch the x-axis at all, ever. The y-intercept, it's crossing here. I wrote it down. It's at 0 and then 1.1. And then the min and the max, no, none. Okay, so you guys have your own to do. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great night. Bye.